All right, everybody, it's time for another video. It's funny, it's been, the last video was posted on the 3rd of January, and here we are on the 17th, which I think is indicative of the fact that I'm settling down here and doing a lot of work as opposed to a lot of interesting touring. Anybody who wants to hear me talk on YouTube about my work, maybe we'll make another channel one day. I don't know, but this is supposed to be about my trip. And it's been since the beginning of November, so we're talking about now, what are we, 10 weeks in? I got 2 weeks left, a little less than 2 weeks. I fly home on the 29th through Mexico City, and I arrive in Vancouver on the 30th, if all goes well. It's still beautiful weather here generally, kind of paradise every day, and in Vancouver at the moment, it is a deep freeze kind of snow fest. And so that'll be interesting to see if I can reverse adapt back to what home is like. And I tell people here, Vancouver's not usually cold like that. Like, this is really unusual. Maybe once a year, once every couple of years. Anyway, the weekend after I had my birthday, I left on Friday and I went to Mendoza, Argentina, which is known for, it's a desert climate. It's over by the Andes. On the map, it's almost by Chile. And they make a lot of wine in Mendoza. So it's one of the places people say you need to see. The truth is, they also say that you should go see Bariloche, but from the pictures, that looks to me like lakes and mountains, and the climate is very much like what I'm used to at home. So desert in Mendoza, that's more unique and different for me. So since I'm going to limit myself, I was thinking, to one more weekend trip. Mendoza it is. So again, the flights getting around in Argentina are super cheap. Fortunately, this flight left from Jorge Newbery Airport, which is right next to Palermo, and it returned to Jorge Newbery Airport as well. So much easier than the other way around, going into Ezeiza, EZE airport, which is stupid. It's so far from the town. Anyway, Friday afternoon, I went to the Jorge Newbery Airport. I love saying that, and we had the short flight, about a little less than 2 hours, over to Mendoza. And of course, I had arranged an Airbnb, and it looked very cute. That day, they messaged me and said, "Okay, you're coming in later than we could be there, so we're going to hide the key right here." And they sent this little picture of this kind of gate. And in the corner of the gate, they took a picture of that and then circled it with some highlighter. That's where the key is going to be. And I thought, so you're leaving the key on the sidewalk, basically out in the open. Not that hard to see. I guess you're comfortable with that. Maybe Mendoza is a very safe place. And indeed, I show up at the local Mendoza airport and take an easy cab ride to one of the main streets in the downtown area where all the buildings, where the built-up areas are. And I find my way to the gate, which is the gate to a galleria, which is like a bunch of shops. It's like a little mall, a galleria. So there's the gate, and I look down and I kind of poke my hand in. Yeah, there's the keys just sitting there. I guess they weren't worried. But the keys are these funny old-fashioned keys, like they're these brass double-sided things, and there's 3 of them. I got no idea which one opens the gate. So I start mucking around with opening the gate, and I'm starting to attract attention from the locals. These two kids, I would say maybe they were 19 or 20 years old, and they're talking to me in Spanish, probably saying, do you need help, old man?" And so I didn't really need that much help, but I eventually get the door open, and then they probably ask me, can we come in? And I don't know what to say. So, "Oh, sure," and you come. That was the wrong thing to do, because then the janitor, who was down the hallway, he walks past me and says something in Spanish, and I'm thinking it was, "Do you know those guys? Did you let some people in here?" Yes, I did. I didn't know what else to do. So anyway, I get the keys after the dirty look from the janitor, and I walk down the hallway, and apparently in the galleria, there's these 2 elevator columns. I go to the second one. The elevator, which I took a video of, it was so interesting, was the old kind, where you have a kind of a metal, first of all, a door that you open like a regular door, not an elevator door. and then a metal sliding kind of grate that you go in and you close both doors. You press the button, and foreshadowing later parts of the story, it then goes. You press the button, it goes ka-gonk, and starts riding me up to the. I'm on the 8th floor, and eventually I found my place, and I figured out which key gets you into my suite. And I got into the suite, and it looked exactly like it did on the pictures. Very quaint, still a studio, but really nice. And why would I need more than that? Just like the picture. Super tired by then, so pretty much immediately. No, sorry. I went outside to get some food. Found some crappy food walking on the sidewalk. And in a new city, I'm always a little bit leery. Like, what's it like in this city? Is it dangerous? Is it not dangerous? But it was fine. You think, oh, who are these people? And you realize some of them are mothers pushing their babies in strollers. And yeah, it's 11:30 at night, but everything happens late at night in these South American places, especially the hot ones, right? So I got myself some junky food, walked around the block. I wish I had walked the other way around the block because there were some beautiful looking empanadas, and I wound up with like I don't know what, a bag of chips or something. Little side story. So my breathing sucks today, and it's been fine mostly the whole time. Had a little bit of allergies for the first few weeks when there was pollen flowing freely in the air, but I've been fine since then. And today, what was different? I ran out of coffee, and so I started drinking mate seriously. And I think my system just thinks mate is grass. And yeah, it tastes a bit like grass. Sorry, Diego. And I'm offending like all of my Argentinian friends right now, but I'm just not a fan. And also, I don't think I can drink it. I think I'm allergic to it. So don't feel good. That's why I'm sniffling. That's why I'm coughing. And I'm hoping that the breathing gets easier by the time I want to go to bed in a few hours. All right, back to the story. So I get up there, and I got my junky food, went back to my suite, and try to go to sleep. And it looks comfy enough. And then I realized this was like, again, I get the cheapest Airbnbs. I didn't know what was going to be wrong with this one, but there had to be something. And it's because on the 8th floor, I'm right next to the machine room for the elevator. And so, like I said, it goes gonk every time you press the button. And so all night, every time anybody pressed the button, I would hear that sound. And then I would hear the thing going, and oh yeah, this is not the best. Not the best at all. So I was super tired. I had booked. Oh yeah, that's right. So then my Airbnb host, whom I never met, but seemed very nice in the messages, suggested that I talk to somebody about getting a tour into the Andes. And so I contacted them. It was supposed to be an all-day tour going up to the Chile area. Apparently, this is like the only way to go. There's like one road. Right, I was communicating with them on WhatsApp, and they were saying, well, it's going to be, oh, I'm sorry, I know you thought it was $130, which even then is kind of steep for a tour like this. But now fuel prices have gone up, which they have, fair enough. So it's going to be $200 now. Oh, that's more than I want to spend, but I don't really have another option. Let's move ahead. And then they said, and we're going to put you in a vehicle with this guy. He doesn't speak much English. And then I'm thinking, all right, so I'm paying $200 to drive around all day with a guy who can't tell me what I'm looking at. So then I said, no, okay, I'm not going to do that. And I quickly went online, and I found through a more standard outfit, I found a tour, the same tour effectively, for $40. And that's the one I took. So back to the story now. I wake up in the morning, I'm exhausted, didn't sleep. The elevator was cranking up and down. Sorry about the sniffling here. And then I wait. Oh yeah, and they say arrive early, like at 15 minutes before the 8 o'clock pickup. They really shouldn't say that to people like me, because then I'm going to arrive like 20 minutes early to make sure that I'm early for being early. So I got up just before like 7:15, and I had a little bit of time, so I'm walking around. This is my first time seeing Mendoza in the daylight, and it's really cute. Like it's really cool looking, and nothing's open. But I found a few blocks away, there was one place. Sorry. There's one place that is open, and I got myself some coffee and a couple of media lunas and a little glass of naranja, juego naranja. That probably means game juice. Okay. Game orange. Sorry. Jugo? I just don't know. I just don't know what the word is, but orange juice. Just like they always serve, and in these beautiful little cups. And I'm sitting down. I'm running out of time. Of course, nothing goes quickly. I want to pay. I want to get out of there. So eventually I have to get there early. So I grab my coffee and I walk inside and I'm trying to explain, can I put this in a cup to go? I didn't see any cups to go. So I just paid him more than he was owed and hightailed it there, left half my coffee. Such is life. So I got back to the pickup point like 2 minutes before the early time for being picked up. And of course, did they arrive at 15 minutes to? No. Did they arrive at 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock? No, they did not. Did they arrive by 8:15? No, they did not. So 20 after 8, a bus comes by, and it turns out to be my bus. And the lady comes out and says, "Is it you?" "Yeah, it's me. Here's my ticket." She doesn't seem that happy. Didn't know why. Got on the bus, and I realize I'm in the middle of an argument between one of the other bus passengers and the tour guide. And he's saying, "I want to talk to your manager," and she's saying, "You've been rude to me the whole time, to be honest." And I'm like, I don't know what the hell just happened before I got on the bus. But it's a weird environment to start. Anyway, things settled down. I was the last person to be picked up, so we moving out of town pretty directly and onto the one road that goes towards the Andes. So you take the 40 south, you're taking the 7 to the west. And really, if you do this, I would recommend you take this tour because it is absolutely amazing. And I live around a lot of mountains, and so I know what I'm talking about. This is beautiful. So first little stop, we stop at the man-made lake that the Mendoza River flows out of. So it's a pretty big man-made lake. And I get it. It's a desert. You want to save as much water as you can. And I wind up walking out next to the guy who was arguing with the host. And I thought, how's this going to go? And he strikes up a conversation. Anyway, super nice guy. His name is Jake. I follow him on Instagram. He's covered in tattoos. He's been traveling the world for 3 years. Pretty cool, pretty cool story. So we had a good time. We pretty much hung out on the trip. And then, it's stop after stop and more beautiful mountains, beautiful desert rock formations. At one point we get off and we go towards one of the really big snow-capped mountains, and we're having these good conversations. It was really just a fun day. As far as we got was kind of almost Chile, where we stopped, and I picked up a package of alfajores for gifts. So the people who get those are going to get alfajores from the Andes, which is, that's just cooler than getting them from anywhere else. But on the other hand, there's only one road. So you go out one road, you see everything, and then you have to go back the same road and see everything again. Not the best. So I tried to sleep. Again, really tired that day. Yeah, and I got back, and there was plenty of time left, so I walked around Mendoza. Again, it's nighttime now, but I found out that there's a walking street real close by. Mendoza's neat because there's a really big park in the middle, Independence Park, and then 4 more fairly large plazas, only a quarter of the size of the big one, but still pretty big. And it's really neat the way they laid it out. Really cool. So I found that walking street, and there were people dancing tango, and I took a video, and I thought I'm going to come back here for dinner, which I did. And really, then that's the most important part of the story. The following day, I slept in the room. It was a 3-day weekend. So the following day, I actually worked all day. I went out to grab dinner, but I was excited about the work I was doing, so I pretty much just worked in the Airbnb. And it was Sunday anyway, so it's kind of like nothing's open. They really respect the don't open the shops on Sunday. Maybe some restaurants and stuff, but mostly it's dead. Monday morning, I got up, and the one thing that I wanted to do was to hop on one of those hop-on, hop-off buses, which leaves from Independence Square again. And the day before, I had stopped one of them and asked the lady on board, "Is the tour in English?" She says, "Absolutely, it's in English, yes." But when I actually got on the bus, they said, "No, I'm sorry, it's only in Spanish because we're not handing out the headphones." You've probably been on these buses. You plug the headphones in and you can select your language. Later on, I did that in Buenos Aires, finally. But in this particular case, no, just Spanish. So pretty uninformative 2-hour bus ride around Mendoza. But it's really interesting. There's still housing there, like houses. Even though these houses, unlike what I'm used to, they bump right up against each other. Like typically the house just goes side to side of the lot and you line up the houses that way. None of them really have side yards. So to get to your yard, if you have one behind your house, you clearly have to go through the house. But lots of cute looking little houses and lots of really nice restaurant areas. Anyway, sorry, this is getting a little dull. I'm trying to keep it interesting. We did get to the middle of the bus tour. I will say you go up on this hill, and this is a big tourist bus, right? Like it's probably 15 feet high and double decker. And we're going on these very narrow sort of streets up this hill. And I'm sure they've done it 1,000 times, but for me, it was just slightly anxiety producing. Like, are we going to fall down this mountainside? And at the top, there's a commemoration of I think the battle, some battle with the people of the area. I don't really know. Again, it's all in Spanish. I've got a clue. Yeah, and then I ran out of things to do, so I went to the airport. Unfortunately, 9 hours before my flight left, and pretty much worked in the airport, found Wi-Fi, had some food, went home. And the video is getting a little long. I wanted to capture the Mendoza trip. I would very much recommend that you go to Mendoza. I didn't go on a winery tour, but they're really nice. I'm pretty sure they're pretty nice. I realized that even shipping a shoebox home by DHL or something would cost me $250. So originally I had thought, yeah, I'll find some wine I like and ship myself a crate. I'm not going to do that. I shudder to think what that would cost. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to buy it at home. And that's it. So I'll end the video now, and I will post another one in the next few days about stuff that happened since then, because it was actually an interesting week in the last 7 days. And but I'll save it for another video. Keep this one short. Thanks, everybody. I'm recording these because I think I'm going to enjoy looking back at them later, and it's a way for me to communicate to the people I left at home more so than I already do. In fact, my son Tyler just messaged me on Discord, and we're going to talk. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.